What's good, everybody? Hey, new week. This is the third video of the new year, so one video a week so far. I am meeting my goals for at least one video a week, and I wanted to get on and do a video on. Somebody asked me, how do I get through Marine Corps boot camp? How do you get through Marine Corps boot camp? Here's a few tips on how to get through it. So you've saw the recruiter, you went to MEPS, you raised your right hand, and now it's time for you to take that journey to either San Diego or Parris Island, South Carolina. And how are you going to make it through successfully, right? Because we don't want to just go there, make it through, and do the basics and hope and pray and all that, right? Here's some surefire ways to get through Marine Corps boot camp, no matter if you're on the East Coast or the West Coast. All right. I went to the East Coast. I was a Parris Island Marine, but I've been to both coasts. And at the end of the day, to become a Marine, you got to go through the rite of passage of our recruit training boot camp. All right. The first thing I'll tell you is have an open mind. Okay. We're not on dad's farm no more. We're not in mama's house no more. You're a grown adult, whether you're a male or a female, and it's time for you to make your own path, blaze your own road, okay? Have an open mind. You want to go in, you want to be like a sponge, you want to absorb everything that they're throwing at you, okay? The very first couple weeks, you're going to be blown away. You're going to cry. The emotions of missing mom and dad or missing family. Everything is going to be a rush, right? Of emotions. You're not going to have a phone. You got to write letters. Oh man, imagine that. You have to write a letter home if you want to. I can tell you my own experience in a minute. But open mind, absorb everything that you're getting from the getting off the bus, getting on the yellow footprints, getting stripped of all your civilian bad habits, your clothes, everything, and then getting a nice fade haircut. Okay, if you're male, you're going to be bald, right? But they're stripping away everything civilian, right? Everybody at recruit training is going to look the same, act the same, right? Everything is uniformed, just like the Marines. It's a uniform. It's a way of life. We do things on purpose for another reason, okay? Everything you do is for a reason, and you have to understand that it's a rite of passage. It's not going to be easy. It's the hardest thing you're ever going to go through, okay? But we take it one day at a time. We call it chow to chow, lights to lights. Taking each day from the time the lights come on to going to breakfast, going to lunch, going to dinner, and then the time the lights go off. You just have to take it as it comes, day to day. So lights to lights, chow to chow. And if you don't know what chow is, it means going to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner at the chow hall. In the Marines, it's the chow hall. Other word for it would be cafeteria or, a dining hall or whatever the other branches want to call it. It just doesn't matter. It's a chow hall, okay? From the time you get off that bus, you need to have the mentality of open mind, absorb everything, be violent, okay? This is the one place for 13 weeks you can be the most violent and intense that you've ever been. Run harder and faster. Yell louder than everybody else. Do your part to the best of your ability and push it to the extreme. That's what's going to happen. You're going to be pushed to the extreme on physical, mental, lack of sleep, lack of food. I mean, you're going to eat, but it's going to be like 30 seconds. From the time the last guy gets to the end of the chow line, you're at the table, last guy sits, 30 seconds, you're out, and you're back on to whatever training block they have you. Violence and intensity. Not saying it's okay outside of the parameters of recruit training boot camp, but while you're there, you want to be loud, violent, intense, okay? You want to soak everything up. You want to be the first one. You know, it's a competition. At the end of the day, it's a competition of who's who, right? They're trying to weed out the weak, keep the strong. You're not weak. You're strong. You just don't know it up here, right? Your body, your mind, everything's going to be twisted because it's going to be the totally opposite of what you're used to in your life, okay? So being violent, I'm not saying being violent like a wannabe gangster, right? I mean, when you go out to do what we call pugil sticks, all right? Looks like some big ass Q-tips, and you got a helmet on, and you got a thing that surrounds your waist, and they're going to have you fight one another until the other falls off or taps out. You want to go at that other person like it's the fight of your life, okay? So being violent and intense, right? Whenever they tell you to move, you got to move. The fastest you ever run in your life, you want to move. When it's time to do a task, you want to complete the task fast, okay? And don't take shit from anybody except for the drill instructors. That's their job. You want to take shit from them, okay? You got to go out there, listen, absorb, be violent, okay? Embrace the suck, okay? You'll ask guys that have been in the military, regardless of what branch. We go out into something, a deployment. Maybe it's combat. Maybe it's, you know, a humanitarian effort. The Marine Corps will never send you somewhere. Had to take a phone call for business purposes. But what I'm saying is, you want to attack, go on offensive mode while you're there. You're going to have 70 males or 70 other females. It's your time to rise to the top, okay? But I'm not saying go out there and beat the living shit out of each other. I'm saying be violent in everything that you do while you're there, okay? You're going to be angry. You're going to be missing home. You're going to be in your emotions, your feelings. Like, let it all go. Let it go. Everything that you do has a purpose at Marine Corps Boot Camp, okay? You just need to just go with the flow. But everything from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep needs to be harder, faster, more violent than the next person. If you got picked on as a kid in high school, or you were bullied, or you weren't very talkative, now's the time that you're allowed to be loud to the point where you lose your voice, okay? Now is the time to stand up for yourself, okay? You need to make sure you go into this with an open mind. It's going to make you question not only life, but maybe why you joined the Marines. Maybe you're going to hate your recruiter for putting you in a position. It's not our fault the recruiter fucking lied to you, okay? You have to ask the question. And if they don't tell you, then you need to research, right? There's people that go to Marine Corps boot camp and they tap out, okay? This branch of service is not for the weak at heart. It is not for those who don't want that challenge. But I can guarantee you, at the end of recruit training, When you're in Marine Corps dress blues and you're walking across the parade deck and they're singing the Marine Corps hymn, or I should say the band is playing the Marine Corps hymn, that's going to be the greatest day of your life, because now you've earned that title for the rest of your life. This is something that I would never go back and say, man, I regret, or I wish I could have done over. This is something that saved my life. You know, at recruit training, I was 124 pounds, 5'11". Never really been a scrappy person. I wasn't a talkative person. But I went into it. I was what I feel like I was the loudest. And then they said, hey, if we win this competition, platoon versus platoon, if we win this drill competition or we win this martial art competition, on Christmas Day, we'll give you a phone call home. Now, hell with that. We won. Everybody lined up and they got their little, Mom, I miss you, Dad. I didn't go to Marine Corps boot camp to satisfy anybody but my damn self. I was in it for myself. I was okay with being selfish because I knew the life it would provide in the future. I knew all I had to do was make it through by being the most violent version of myself. Being okay with being the loudest. Being okay with, hey, he might beat me on this run, but I'm going to give it everything I got to the point where I'm throwing up like crazy because I'm all out, running my hardest. Marine Corps boot camp, your mantra should be all in, right? All in for the next 13 weeks of your life to earn the greatest title in the world. I can say I'm biased, but there's so many people that wish they were Marines or wish they could have become Marines. The would have, the could have, the I should have, we're not talking about them. We're talking about you. You're looking into becoming a Marine. Maybe you already signed on the dotted line. But if you don't think that the most intense, hardest challenge of your life is going to be something you're up to, don't waste the Marine Corps' money. Don't waste the training for somebody else that they could step in your shoes. There's people out there that would beg and they would love to be in the shoes that you're in. And it's so hard for people to understand when we're just talking about it right now until you graduate Marine Corps boot camp. And somebody says, hey, congratulations, Marine, you've made it. All you got to do is ask a young Marine that's just got out of boot camp or maybe in their first year. You're going to have to start at the bottom, regardless if it's a workforce you're going into, the military you're going into, college. You got to start as a freshman. You got to start as an apprentice. We have to start somewhere before we start to take that climb to the top of the ladder or to the mountain. You got to start. And by you taking this moment and actually raising your right hand, making that commitment, swearing to the oath of the Constitution of the United States, you're already head and heels above everybody else. A 25-year-old Marine and a 25-year-old civilian are not the same. They're different. Marines are different. I love all the branches of service. I've served alongside of every branch. I would never take that part away from me. I would never go back and say something like, I should have done something different. It's the greatest thing I've ever done. It's the greatest thing that you're ever going to do. And when you graduate, you can go back to this video and say, damn, I understand what he's talking about. Okay? If you would like to see more or hear more about Marine Corps recruit training or boot camp from somebody that served, somebody that was a Marine, that is a Marine, that always will be a Marine, throw a comment down below. If your son or daughter is looking at becoming a Marine, or maybe they already went to MEPS, put a comment in below. I don't mind. I'll reach out And maybe at some point I can help you adjust to what the new life is going to be like for your new Marine if they make it through training. So anyway, I don't want to make this super long, but my name's Matt with Ranked Up with Matt. And until next time, thank you for watching.